all of us have sometimes dread going to work, but imagine fronting up every day knowing that you might have to put up with sexual harassment from colleagues and customers. A new national survey shows that happens more than you might think.
My housemates found me in my bedroom just crying in my work clothes on the way to work, and that's when I quit.
For many people, their first job often involves working in a cafe or restaurant. And today, alarming new figures show that 89% of those people, predominantly women, will at some point experience sexual harassment while at work.
I think hospitality invites sexual harassment because people get this idea that they're almost entitled to us. They forget that we're actually people.
A national survey conducted by United Voice has found that perpetrators are both customers and fellow staff members.
I've worked in 6 different establishments, and at 5 of them I've experienced quite aggressive forms of sexual harassment. Talking to my other hospitality friends, you can actually get a feel of just how much of an epidemic this sort of behaviour is.
85% of workers aged between 15 and 64 received unwanted comments about their body while at work. 69% reported being touched inappropriately, and shockingly 19% reported being sexually assaulted. 90% of respondents were female, and managers were reportedly unwilling to confront customers who were considered good drinkers.
It happens in throwaway comments and throwaway looks and touches.
I feel like people aren't feeling too comfortable speaking out about it just because they feel like there's no point, like no one would really listen to them.
This old man came and started stroking my thigh, and I was looking at the security guard being like, oh, can you help me out? But he was looking at me going, it made me feel so uncomfortable and really violated.
I don't feel like there was any support because a lot of the time the perpetrators were either managers or bosses, but even when they were customers, I feel like I had no support.
Well, Rachel Gray worked in hospitality for 8 years. Unfortunately, she's no stranger to creeps, and she joins us now. Rachel, how common was it for you to experience the kind of behaviour we're talking about while at work?
Unfortunately, it's something that you just learn to put up with. You get used to the comments that are from customers and from regulars, walking through a crowded room when you're carrying glasses, getting groped. It's something that most of my friends and I've had to put up with.
So, Rachel, tell us about some of your specific experiences.
I guess, it starts from, you drop your resume into places, and I had a owner of a place, go, oh, you don't have to drop in your resume if you start tonight and, if you wear something a bit lower cut. And that's something that I feel we all put up with. But then it's the boss's table at a restaurant where I was working, and the boss's friends, and they can make whatever comments they like because they are the boss's friends.
Why do you think people are targeting females in hospitality more than any other industry?
That people feel ownership when they have over people in a hospitality industry. They feel like you're their property, that they feel like it's okay because you're serving them a drink or you're bringing them their meal, that they feel like they're paying you for your time, but that doesn't mean that you should be able to come into my workplace and make me feel unsafe or make my colleagues feel unsafe.
Is that, that's almost just, I can't believe, is it more that the customer's always right? Is it that kind of philosophy kind of gone a little bit haywire?
I think so. I think a lot of management are afraid of getting a bad reputation in acknowledging some of this harassment that goes on. They don't want to be that place where this happens, and so if they don't acknowledge it, maybe it just goes away. And partly it's because people are coming in spending money, and it is that hospitality culture that we're there to provide a good night for people. But I think that they don't have to be mutually exclusive. I can have a good night and you can have a good night.
Well, Rachel, thank you so much for sharing your stories with us tonight. I really appreciate it.
No worries, guys. Thanks so much for talking about it. It's really important.
I got to say, the feedback we got on this backs up those stats. Brooke on Facebook says it's sadly so entrenched, it's practically accepted as part of the job. Wow. And Vanessa says it also happens in retail. I'm constantly reminding my 16 to 19-year-old daughters to be careful about what they wear because of the comments men make. No young girl should have to do with this kind of behaviour when they're simply just trying to do their job.
Absolutely. Guys, they're there to help you have a good night, but they're not necessarily part of your night. And there's a line that you've got to be respectful of.
Well, the Restaurant and Caterers Association sent us a statement on this today, as did the Hotels Association Australia. You can find those statements on our website.